This is 630's My Journey, My Experience podcast. Stories from 630 riders about their lives and time in the saddle. I'm your host, Dustin Geiger.
Okay, welcome to the My Journey, My Experience 630 podcast. Today we have another avid 630 rider, Sherri Brody, right? Is that correct? Brody's last name?
Yep, you got it.
So thank you for joining us today. We're excited to hear about your experiences.
You're welcome. Thank you.
So let's just jump right in and get to know you a little bit. So first thing I want to get out of the way because everyone's always curious to hear if they're similar body type or rider type. Tell us your age, height, and weight if you don't mind sharing.
Yeah, I'm 61. 62's less than 3 months away. I'm 5'2.5" and 130 pounds as of this morning.
Okay. And where are you located, Sherri?
I'm in Wake Forest, North Carolina.
Okay, wow. So you're clear across the country from where I am right now.
We just moved from California, Riverside County. We did live in San Clemente, though, a couple years ago. We've lived all over
really?
California. Yeah, we just left California last year.
Okay, so you're one of the ones that are doing the mass California exodus, huh?
Yes, one of 220,000. You got it.
I'm just curious then. So how have you enjoyed the East Coast so far?
Well, I'm originally from New Jersey, so I am an East Coast girl. It was tough. Our daughter and two twin grandchildren actually still live in California, in Corona. That was a tough decision, but the lockdowns were just too much. We couldn't take it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it'll give you a good excuse to come visit, I guess.
Yes, for sure. And lots of friends out there still in our old community. We do miss our old community. We miss the weather of California, and the people of California are just wonderful. They're always happy. The weather's always beautiful. Time flies because it's just so nice. You forget what season it's in. So, yeah, we miss California, but then again, we don't. So.
Yeah, no, I get you. Cool. Well, so thanks for being on. And I'm just curious. So when did you first get your 630 bike?
I want to say it was in March, early March.
Okay, 2022.
Yeah, it's only been a few months.
Got it. And so did you buy it while living in California still, or did you get it when you were...
No, we relocated here the end of last year. And when we were looking at it, we said, "Oh, there you go. I think they're in San Clemente. Must be an omen." So, there's a lot of electric battery operated bikes on the internet, but we decided that it just thought, well, you know what? That's our old stomping ground, and to us it seemed like a smaller company, or maybe not as well known as some of the other brands, and that's how we like to spend our money. With mom and pop businesses, and the reviews were fantastic. We looked at all the reviews, and yeah.
Well, I appreciate that you chose us.
Yeah.
And so I'm sorry. So what bike are you riding right now?
I have the battery operated trike.
Okay, great. So you have the Every Journey electric trike.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm curious, prior to jumping back in on the trike, had you not ridden a bike for a long time, or had you always been an avid bike rider?
I had not ridden a bike for a while, probably maybe close to a decade if it seems that long ago, but I do have my motorcycle license. So
Okay.
I left my we've moved so much, so I got rid of the motorcycle a couple years ago, and I sold my scooter before we moved here to North Carolina. And I wanted to get around and not have to use my feet and be out in the heat. It can be hot outside, but when you're on that bike, or any bike, I guess, when you've got the breeze, it just doesn't seem like you're out in the heat like you would if you were walking in slow-mo,
Yeah. So that's interesting. So you're a motorcycle rider, so you obviously have a lot of experience on two wheels and
Yeah.
living a little bit on the wild side.
Yeah.
What made you choose a trike when you went to the...
Well, because I'm 5'2", a lot of the bicycles, and I believe you even have the shorter bicycles, but a lot of the bicycles, when it's two wheels, I can't, I'm used to when I ride a motorcycle, you have to be able to flat-foot it if you really want to be a good, safe motorcyclist. And I find that on two wheels, I can't necessarily flat-foot because I'm so short. And to make me feel confident, and especially when you get up into my age, you know, you don't just fall and do a tuck and roll and, you know, get up and walk away. And I have a habit of, even when I rode the motorcycle, playing with my iPod, wearing them in two ears like I shouldn't be, you know, taking one hand off and, you know, kind of scraping my, you know, on the turns and stuff. So I decided to go with the trike, but I also knew that I have a niece who's disabled and she's in her 30s and she has a trike, but I know that without the battery, you know, it's just, if you it's better to say, well, if I have the battery, I don't have to say to myself, oh man, if I go 3 miles in this direction, am I going to be able to get up those hills on the way home? Am I going to have the energy? I like the option of, if I get tired, I don't have to cut myself short. I don't have to say at any time, gee, I think we should turn around. And this also gives me the option of taking my dog with me, and she's about 22 pounds, and there's no way I could put her in a non-electric battery bike or on a two-wheeler and feel safe. So that's why I went with the three-wheel. And your videos.
Oh, you watched the videos?
I did. I watched I'm a big review person before I buy anything, and I saw the one video where you had 3 trike riders that had never ridden a trike before, and the one woman said she had ridden a trike and she thought it was very difficult. And then once she got on yours, she not only went around the building one time, she wanted to go around the building a couple more times. So that kind of just sealed the deal for me.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was all, I mean, those were real, you know, experiences. We tried to get some people out that hadn't done it before, so, except for her maybe, but yeah.
Yeah.
So before this, had you ever ridden, I mean, aside from when you were probably very little, had you ever ridden a tricycle prior?
No. Mm-mm.
Never?
No, never.
And,
but my
so
sister, go ahead.
Go ahead, yeah. No, go ahead.
But my sister, who's the mother of my 30-some-year-old niece, when I told her I was contemplating getting a trike, she's like, oh, Sherri, you know, because she's disabled. She has cerebral palsy. She said, Sherri, you're going to get tired out, you know, because New Jersey's flat, and that's where they're at. And she says, you're going to get really tired out. She said, a trike's heavier than you think, and she says, you know, when they can tip over. Well, you know, you can fall off a bike, and being a motorcycle rider, you know that when you're on something, you have the possibility to tip over. And I have experience also riding Hardy trikes, motorcycles, the Suzukis, the Can-Am, and I know, well, the Can-Am's pretty hard to tip over, but the trikes, when they typically have like the 2 wheels in the back and they don't have the 2 wheels in the front like the Can-Am, you know, if you're flying around that corner 20 miles an hour, you know, you're going to leave the ground a little bit. So I just know that when if I'm going fast, I'm not going to take a corner fast, and I'm going to, you know, turn so I, you know, lean a little bit so I'm not going to, you know, tip over. So no, I had never ridden a trike since I was probably 4 years old.
And what was your experience like, you know, the first time you got on it and getting used to it?
Oh, I loved it immediately. I immediately loved it.
Any adjustment period for you, or getting used to it,
Nope.
the way it handled? No.
Oh no, I absolutely love it. I test rode one of our neighbors' 2-wheel battery bikes, and when I got on it, as soon as you just touch that pedal a little bit, that thing takes off. I was like, whoa, that thing is a rocket. My trike, it goes, but it doesn't. I feel like the 2-wheel kind of propels me a little bit, where I have a little less control. And actually, the night after and as soon as we got it, my husband had to put together in an hour because he watched all the videos. I said, that trike is coming. You better watch those videos. You're going to get out in that garage and you're putting that sucker together. We were impressed with the way it was packaged. He had it together in about an hour. And then our neighbor, literally maybe 12 houses down, she uses a cane, and she bought my bike in the same exact color 2 weeks later after she saw me riding it. She stopped me. She wanted to know how I liked it, and she likes them. And I showed her, you know, that if I don't want to pedal, I can just push on that throttle and I can just relax. So now she's riding a bike, which is just awesome for people that have mobility issues. I'm in a senior community. So
Okay.
I've had a lot of people ask me about my bike. And like I said, my neighbor got the same exact color and everything that I have. And so when he got it, my husband was able to help him put that bike together because they're a little older than we are.
Maybe we
Yeah.
should set him up as our mobile electric trike assembly and sales and service.
Yeah. I volunteer him for enough.
That's awesome. So I'm curious now. So how often do you get out and ride on the trike?
We try to get out every day. If nothing to get the mail, but as long as it's not above 90, because here it gets kind of hotter later in the day. It's a gradual. It's not like in Florida. It's like hotter and hottest. At least you wake up in the morning. It's cool. So we try to get out early in the morning after breakfast around 9, and we'll go, for about 7 or 8 miles.
And do you log your rides on our app? I couldn't remember.
I do. I sometimes well, we live out in the boonies and the cell coverage is horrible. So if I don't have my Wi-Fi on in the house, I can't even get it in my driveway. And so there are parts of our neighborhood that has it and doesn't have it. So when I'm riding, it kind of goes in and out, but it seems like it's pretty good because my husband has a tracker on his bicycle. And so it seems to be pretty accurate, but I can never, I sometimes I see that I'll post like the same ride 3 times, but then I'll go back and I'll delete them. And it seems like sometimes I'm in the challenge, sometimes I'm not. And sometimes I forget to turn it on. And sometimes I won't post it at all because let's say we're riding and it's a little hot and we want to take a break and we want to just kind of enjoy God's nature and we want to get off the bike and look. I'll forget to turn it off and then I'll get home and it'll be like an hour and a half, 5 miles. There's no way I'm going to look like a slug. So I won't post that one. You know what I mean? Because I'll forget to pause it.
Yeah. And so how generally how far are you going?
We've got a lot of places we can ride around here. I mean, it's endless. So we go about, 8 miles, but there's still a lot of places to explore the rest of this summer. So we're looking forward to it.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. And your husband's on an electric bike, like a 2-wheel electric bike?
He has a 2-wheel electric bike.
And how do you find, I mean, do you have any issues keeping up with him on the trike, or is it fine?
Well, I don't want to keep up with him. He's a
Okay.
guy, he feels the need for speed. He's out to speed through God's country. I've got my dog in the back. She's got her sunglasses on. I've got a custom cover that I'm having made from someone on Etsy to put in the basket that I got. I just want to go slow. So if he wants to go down a couple blocks and turn around, he knows where to find me. I'm not going to get lost. I'll find my way home. We've got cell phones today. So no, I don't feel the need, but I could. I mean, I tell you, I think even going downhill when I try to put it on 1 and really crank up so I'm not going fast down the hill and brake a lot. It'll go 26 miles an hour. You don't want to take
Wow.
a corner doing that. Oh yeah, it'll clock it at 26. I'll be like, whoa, that's just too fast. So yeah, I'm not, it's not a motorcycle. It's not designed like that for me. I'm not going to be a kamikaze on it. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah. So do you bring your dog with you every ride you do? Most
Every
rides?
ride. Yes.
Every ride, wow.
Every ride. She has little goggles and it goes under her chin, it goes on her head, and I think she told me she loves it. I'm not sure. I think she does though. We're going to go with that. She loves it.
And do you just go then for, like, when you ride, are you just going the 8 miles straight, or do you stop, let her get out, walk her, or is it just cruising the whole
Oh
way?
no, because to go 8 miles only takes us about 45 minutes. I mean, if we stop, then we'll be gone longer. If we're going to stop, I can just unleash her and has the leash that hooks into the basket. That's long enough to take her to the bathroom, and then I'll put a bottle of frozen water, which will melt pretty quickly, and then I'll take a cup, and then I'll just give her a little sip of the water, and we'll just go on our way.
So you generally make one stop, is that what you're saying? Or
Yeah, usually one stop, and that's unless we see somebody that wants to flag me down for the bike, because I've had people literally pull up alongside of me. Just the other day, on Sunday, she had her mother in the car with her. Her mother looked to be at least in her 70s or 80s, and she's like, my mother wants to get one of that bike. And I'm like, think of 360 degrees, but it's 360. So yeah.
630.
630. Yeah, that's what I told her. 630. And then I said to her, my husband had to correct me. I said, I always get that mixed up. I get my numbers transposed. Dyslexic, I guess.
No, you're not the only one. I think if I had to go do it all over again, I maybe would have chosen a different brand name, but because it is confusing for some people. But
Well, I do it every time, and then I'm going. My husband's like, no, it's 630, and I've said I've got it. I can't even remember what year I was born at this point. So we'll call it an age thing. But in my younger days, I wouldn't forget it's 630.
yeah, no, that's okay. So what color bike do you have? Do you have the teal one?
I had the navy blue. I had the navy blue with the teal wheels. I had thought maybe I wanted the light yellow, but the light yellow, I thought, well, kind of girly, the black kind of masculine, and I think the blue is just kind of a nice unisex color and the teal wheels are just, I love the colors of the bikes. I mean, that was a real plus for deciding the way you could customize and everything. That was a big thing for me too. So that's one of the reasons why I bought the bike, was the customization.
Did you actually use our customizer
Uh-huh.
too? Oh, cool.
Yeah. The basket, the horn, the lock, the bell, the coffee thing, the helmet. Yeah, I got it all.
That's great. So you have the matching navy helmet as well?
Yep.
Oh, perfect. So I'm curious, when you go on your rides, what typically, when it comes to the motor, are you doing throttle? Are you just doing pedal assist? Do you ever turn the pedal assist off?
I do not turn the pedal assist off. I absolutely love it. I think I had it off for 5 seconds and I was like, I don't want to work that hard. It's kind of like when you're young and you go to a new aerobics class. You're going to be hurting. Those hips hurt the next day. So I'm hoping as I ride, and I used to also be a spin instructor, and I'm used to, pushing down when you've got that, cranked up on the highest gear. So I'm going to get used to that, but I usually ride with it on number one all the time. I've never not pedaled. I've never just sat on it. Well, unless I'm going downhill at 26 miles an hour, then I'll use the brakes and I won't pedal, and I'll put it in one and put it all the way up. But no, I usually ride it in one, but as soon as I get to a hill, if I feel like I've worked my legs enough, I'll put them in two, and sometimes in three. I haven't gone past three, and I've never just done the throttle and not done any pedaling. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
gotcha.
I ride the whole time.
And you've got your dog in the back, so you are towing a little bit of weight still.
Yeah.
Interesting. And so when you get home, do you ever check and see how much battery do you typically have left?
Well, funny you should ask, because we went for a ride on Sunday, and I think when I first turned it on, it looks like it lights up like full battery, but I think that now I don't ride with prescription glasses on, so I turn everything on in the garage, and the lighting isn't great in the garage. I thought it looked like it was full battery. But I guess maybe when you turn it on, kind of like when you turn something on, it turns on full, and then it settles in and goes down. Because we were out of the house maybe 20 minutes, and I noticed I only had 2 bars. And I said to my husband, if we're going to ride 8 to 10 miles at a clip, I probably should just plug it in when I get home, and then just set the timer maybe for an hour. And so, no, I did not check my battery, and I had to cut our ride short on Sunday, so I am going to make it a habit of at least calling that my idea of maintenance. Yeah.
Well, it's going to be about 4 to 5 hours of full charge.
Oh,
so
okay.
If you come back from your ride, depending on how many bars you have left, if you still have 5 bars, you probably, but yeah, plug it in every time, and the charger will indicate to you when the light turns green or turns off. Usually when you plug it in, it'll be red.
Okay.
And, yeah.
Oh, so green's a full charge then?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
Exactly.
All right, got ya.
So what else do you bring with you on your rides? You mentioned the frozen water, which was, I don't know if that's for you or just your dog. What other accessories or things are you bringing with you when you ride?
Just, really just a cell phone, maybe some gum, maybe some hard candies, because we're not going out in the heat and we're not going to be gone for hours. So, maybe a charge card.
And you have
Just
the
not,
you said you have the bag though, the 630 bag on the front? Or
I
did you
don't.
not say that? Oh, okay, no.
No.
But you have a water bottle holder or anything like that?
I thought it was a water bottle holder, but I tried to put my water in it. Now maybe because it was square, I couldn't get it in. Maybe it's a coffee thing. But I do have the holder. It's kind of like an insulated cup up there with the bell.
Got it.
And with the lights, of course, with the front light and the back light. I was going
Okay.
to do the pouch, but I was like, I'm just going to look like a bag lady if I keep adding stuff to this. So that's why I ordered the liner with a pocket and stuff in it. So, yeah.
Yeah, no, that'll be perfect for your dog.
Yeah.
I'm sure. Do you put a blanket in there now or something?
Oh, yeah. She got a pillow and a blanket.
Okay. Well, we'll have to check the app. So if you want to see Sherri with her dog, make sure to check the app. Maybe she'll upload some photos um, to accompany one of her rides. So, and I'm curious on your rides, is it mainly flat ground or are you doing any kind of hills?
It is not mainly flat ground. It is very hilly in North Carolina.
Okay.
I mean, it's not as hilly as California, mind you. I mean, California is tough. And, I think the last time I did ride a bike in California, I think I walked it home. Because it was, we lived in Temecula. And, San Clemente,
Yeah, yeah.
of course, just getting down to that pier and stuff. I mean, I could do it on foot, but I could never ride up there. And we had considered getting the bikes before we decided to leave California, because everybody during the pandemic that we know was buying battery bikes all over, and you couldn't get them. There were none to be had. So I think we actually started to look online, and everything was just sold out. Everywhere the bikes were sold out. So, once we got settled here, we're like, okay, now it's time to get a bike. But yeah, no, not flat around North Carolina. We're doing hills.
So, I mean, on your rides, you're doing a lot of uphill, downhill,
Oh yeah, oh
a lot
yeah.
of incline.
Yeah.
And how do you find that the tricycle handles the hills for you?
Oh, it's amazing. I mean, the highest I've ever used is a 3. I mean, I haven't needed anything beyond that, but I mean, I'm sure it wouldn't have any trouble if I used a 4 or 5. You know, I mean, it's very capable. I mean, the options are endless, really, I think.
And when you're going, so you said on a downhill, you actually saw the speedometer say 26.
Oh yeah.
Wow. You might have set the world record for your age on a tricycle downhill with a dog. I'm pretty sure I mean, you obviously come from a motorcycle, but 26 on a bike is pretty fast. I mean,
Yeah.
I
That's why
feel, yeah.
Yeah. No, go
Go
ahead.
ahead. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was going to say that that's why I think the dog likes it. I'm not sure because you get on some of those roads where because you're on the road, you're not in the middle of the road, and you've got gravel there, so it's not like when you're going downhill, you're in the middle of the road on a nice paved road. You're bumping along.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So what
But it feels
do you?
very stable.
When you check, are you checking the speedometer like typically on your rides? Like, what are you usually cruising at?
Um, Typically around 14, 16 is what I normally do. That's
Got
that's
it.
like average. That's what we normally cruise at is like 14 to 16. Yeah.
Got it. And you're just in pedal assist 1 or maybe 2 at that point. So you're not putting in
Yeah.
a ton of. I mean, you're putting in effort, but you're getting the assistance, and you're still going. I mean, 14 to 16 is still pretty fast for, I think, the average cyclist. Or
Yeah, I mean,
amateur.
I said to my husband, hey, we might not be, losing any LBs here, with the rate we're going and we're not going, from, 20 miles a day. I said, but it could be worse. We could be sitting on the sofa. We're out there. We're in the fresh air. We're getting to see things. Anything's better than sitting in front of the tube,
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Now, that's what I was going to touch on next is the exercise element. I mean, do you feel like you are getting a workout when you're out there?
Yeah, if I definitely keep it on one and I pretend that I'm on a spin bike, where I'm pushing down with my heels, which I'll do that every couple rides. Of course, I have to pay the price of getting sore the next day, and then I'll give my body maybe 48-hour break before I go doing that again. So I feel as time goes on, I'll probably get, build up the strength in my muscles and my hips and my endurance for sure. And I'll use
Yeah.
it less and less. I mean, that would be the goal.
Well, I just asked because I think there's a stigma around electric bikes that you can't get a workout or you're cheating or something of that nature. And I guess my question to you is, I mean, you still feel like if you want to get a workout, you can, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. Because, I mean, I personally couldn't do it if I didn't have it. So then basically I wouldn't get on a bike at all. So the
Yeah.
option is to get on a bike or not get on a bike. So I'm like, and I'm 62, so it doesn't really matter what anybody thinks. You know, you know what I mean? It's like, hey, I ride that trike loud and proud. I think I mean, it looks great. The dog looks adorable. Everybody loves the dog. They're like, hey, and then they go past me and they're like, oh, she's got a dog with glasses. So yeah, yeah.
You're the talk of the neighborhood, huh?
Yeah, we're the talk of the neighborhood. You got it.
That's a good. No, that's. Selfishly, I kind of love it. You're like a kind of a riding billboard with the dog in the back and the. You need to. Is it a girl or a boy?
It's a girl.
Girl.
A
We need to get
Cavalier
her.
King Charles Spaniel.
Okay, we need to get her
Yeah.
some matching goggles, some navy goggles with the light blue trim. She can match the bike.
Funny.
So in terms of the trike, also I was curious the mounting and dismounting, and then the overall comfort, riding position, stuff like that. How is it? How has it been mounting and dismounting? Because how tall did you say you are again?
I'm 5'2.5". So mounting and dismounting, no problem. If we're doing a lot of the hills, I'll get a little bit of a sore wrist only because I got to use the brake a little bit when I'm going 26 miles an hour. The comfortability is fine. The butt, doesn't matter what I sit on, anything at that age, that's why, you're young, your parents used to drive these big Cadillacs and big cars because you need all that cushion, because, your padding wears out. So I do have a gel seat on my bike, but I don't know if it really does anything, but it's there.
Is
If
it like
anything, it'll protect the leather.
Okay, so you put it on top of the seat.
Yeah, I'm not going to change my seat out. It's a gorgeous leather seat.
Yeah. But in terms of your body, soreness when you're done, or is it comfortable? How do you enjoy the riding position?
No, I think it's really comfortable. I mean, we used to have mountain bikes prior to this when we had bikes a decade ago, and I used to complain all the time. My back and shoulders hurt because of the position you're in when you're on a mountain bike, but I find this is a very comfortable position. I don't get shoulder or neck fatigue. I have hip problems, I mean, it just comes with the age. But I don't have any neck issues or shoulder or back issues. I find the ride it puts me in a very comfortable position, for sure.
Yeah. So I'm curious, do you think that have you officially retired from two-wheel riding, motorcycle and bicycle?
I would say so. Yeah.
So from here on out,
Hmm?
I would say from here on out, trikes only.
Trikes only. Well, the last motorcycle, I started off on the motorcycles with the Hondas, stayed with Hondas for a while, went to Suzuki. My husband had a Victory, and I would ride that. And he had Harleys, I rode that. But then my favorite one that I transitioned to was the Can-Am. And that,
Is
that's
that the two wheels in the
wheels.
front?
Yeah, awesome. I mean, we're talking power steering, AM, FM, iPod, heated grips. I mean, we're talking Cadillac of three-wheel motorcycles. And I loved that. I loved that I felt, because I have a habit of, I mean, just because you get older doesn't mean you're any less wild, per se. So I have a need for speed,
Yeah.
kamikaze, I'm older, don't screw with me, get out of my way. You still make stupid decisions and choices no matter what age you are. So yeah, I'm definitely safer on the three wheels for sure.
How long did you have the Can-Am for?
Probably 4 years. and I sold it because we had it in California when we were in San Clemente, and then I took it from San Clemente to Venice, Florida. And then when we moved back to California, I was like, I'm not taking this thing again. It's, it's too hard to move it. It's expensive. And we both had Can-Ams, actually, at that point.
Wow, that's super cool. Would you ride that a lot, like daily, or?
Oh yeah, I used to take ukulele lessons 4 or 5 days a week, and it was 25 miles each way. I would go and actually, when we had motorcycles, we only shared one car because I didn't need him to go riding with. I would go to church, Bible study, luncheons, massages. I'd ride by myself all the time. So yeah, it didn't matter what I was riding. So yeah, I like to ride by myself.
So you took the Can-Am on the California freeways.
Oh yes, I did. All down along the PCH. Yep.
Wow,
Up
that's awesome.
through, you go through Huntington and all that.
Yeah.
And eat along the water. Yeah.
Wow, yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, I mean, you
Dana
see
Point.
them. Yeah, actually, I used to live in Dana Point. And,
Yeah, nice.
I love Dana Point, yeah. I mean, you see the Can-Ams, not a ton of them. I think definitely more than you used to. But, yeah, I think they're,
Well, you
amazing.
can't lane split. California is one of those few places you can lane split. You can't lane split with the Can-Am. They take up too much room.
Oh, true, very true.
Yeah, that's why you're not going to see a lot of them.
Right. I guess the benefit here really is the lane splitting for the.
Yeah, I mean, who wants to sit in that traffic? I mean, come on. It's too hot, plus you're sucking in all those fumes. You don't have a choice when you're trying to get from point A to point B in California. You got to be on two wheels to go in and out of to get anywhere.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think this is a really cool story because, you know what, I think there's some level of stigma around trikes. People, for whatever reason, don't want to ride trikes, or, some people think, oh, it's, I don't know, cheating, or I have to be on two wheels. But I think it's, your story coming from motorcycles, still loving it on the electric trike. And, so to me, that's super cool. And what we tried to do, which you pointed out, which I'm glad to hear, is we tried to make trikes a little more cool in terms of the colorways and how they appear versus the standard, black, red, white. So, yeah. I appreciate it, and I'm glad your dog's loving it and you're out riding. Yeah. And yeah, so if you want to see Sherri, download the app, follow her on there. She'll post her rides, or join our peddlers group. Sherri, I don't know if you're in the peddlers group on Facebook too. But
I think I am. I sometimes have trouble finding it. I am technically challenged, and my grandkids are in California, so I can't have them come show me now. So I'm on my own.
Yeah. Well, no worries. I think Facebook's a challenge. Facebook can be challenging for all of us at times. So,
Okay.
But well, yeah, there you have it. So Sherri and the Every Journey electric 250 watt. She's out there adventuring, taking on hills, and getting out with her dog. So Sherri, thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate it on the
You're
My Journey,
welcome.
My Experience podcast. And yeah, we'll see you on the app.
Okay, thank you, Dustin. I appreciate it.
All right, thank you. Thanks, everybody.
You're
We'll see you
welcome.
next time.